Rabbanit Shira.
Shalom, Rabbanit Hamutal.
Ever since we came back from America, we have an issue in our home. We cannot speak behind the back of the kids without them understanding. Because now they
know
understand English and Hebrew, and it's a problem.
It's a problem. I grew up in a house that my parents spoke Marokkite, Arabic, and we never understood what they were saying until we grew old. And then when we were older, we started understanding some of the words. So they lost the charm, just like you're saying. But today with Shlomo, we don't have a language that the kids don't know.
It's really hard.
We only restricted to English and Hebrew, and the kids speak English and Hebrew.
So I can make up a few sentences in Spanish, but it's very hard. And one day, I don't know if it was Ronen or one of the kids, they say, what about Aramaic? Let's start speaking Aramaic, and then the kids won't understand anything. But it's too hard for me.
So I'm hoping my kids will understand the Aramaic, definitely in my level of Aramaic, because I don't speak Aramaic.
Yeah.
So maybe the kids will understand that as well. But yeah, Aramaic is a beautiful language. And today in Masechet Avodah Zarah, we are reading about one of the very important figures that I've never noticed that much. His name is Onkelos, Rabbeinu Onkelos, who translated the Torah from Hebrew to Aramaic.
Right.
So what we want to try and do today in the few minutes that we have to try and figure out the story of Rabbeinu Onkelos,
who converted, who wasn't born as a Jew. And as we'll see in a minute, he was a nephew of a very famous non-Jew guy who destroyed Israel. So it's very interesting to see how he came from this family and he became such a big rabbi, and he's responsible for the amazing translation of the Torah.
Because Onkelos, he converted even though his family was against it.
Yeah.
And the hardship of converting was, in addition to all the hardship of leaving your family, it was leaving your family and knowing that they are mamash against you joining the Israeli nation. So the Gemara, we're starting from the Gemara in Gittin because that tells us the story before the story of Avodah Zarah.
Right.
So the Gemara in Gittin is telling us about Onkelos. Onkelos bar Clonikus bar Achute de Titus. He was the nephew of Titus. And he decided that he wants to convert. Titus was already dead when he decided to convert. So the Gemara in Gittin tells us three figures that Onkelos is deciding to consult with them even though they are dead. So he is bringing them up by magic, or what we call in the Tanakh Ov, just like Shmuel did with Shaul. So like Shaul did with Shmuel, So he's bringing them up and he's asking same questions to all those three figures, to Titus, to Bil'am, and to Jesus, the Christian Jesus. So he's asking them, where are you from in Olam Haba? Who is the most important
nation
in the world that you are? And all three of them are saying Israel.
Like, and they have the perspective of the afterlife, looking back and saying, who is the most important nation after you're dead, after you have like Bedin Shalmala, whatever that is.
Whatever is happening in that other world, who is the most important there? And all the three of them are saying Israel. And then he's talking to them about what is happening with them, what is their punishment. It's very interesting. If you want, Gittin Nun Vav, go and look it up. And then both of them are telling him, Titus and Bil'am are telling Onkelos, don't convert, Kilu, leave it.
It's not worth it, yeah.
But only Jesus is telling him, whoever is blessing Israel is blessed, so you can join them. And with that, Titus is going and converting. Onkelos.
Yeah. So today, in this week's Avodah Zarah, which we're starting a little bit late, but it's a wonderful, wonderful Masechet, we see the actual story of the next step of the conversion itself. And in Daf Yud Aleph Amud Bet, it says, Onkelos bar Clonimos Igayel. So that's like obvious. He just
converted. It's a fact already. He already converted.
The Caesar, the Roman Caesar, is sending troops to get him. What do you mean? You're betraying me and you're becoming a Jew. And every time he's sending the troops, Onkelos speaks to them, and they're also converting. So he sends the first mission of troops, and then the second one. And the Caesar is telling him, listen, he's a dangerous person. Don't speak to him. I don't want him to
try and influence you.
Exactly. And you're converting. And Onkelos still speaks to them, and they're converting one after the other. And then he's giving them a nice drasha about the mezuzah.
I love that drasha.
Right?
It's a beautiful drasha.
He says, מנהגו של עולם מלך בשר ודם יושב מבפנים ועבדיו משמרים אותו בחוץ. If you look at every king in the world, he's sitting inside the palace and the guard is standing outside.
But how many guards do you have to go through in order to see the king?
Exactly.
Well, there's gate after gate after gate.
And he's inside and they're outside watching out for him. But in Am Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, avadav bifnim, we're sitting inside our houses and we have the mezuzah
that is watching us.
And making sure that we're fine on the outside. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on the outside, not hiding inside. And this is the last drasha, and the second or the third cohort of troops also converting.
Because he's referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the protector of Am Yisrael. It's not that we are protecting the king, it's the king that is protecting us.
Exactly. And then the end of the story, Tu lo shadar batrei. The Caesar is giving up.
No, he gave up.
I'm not sending any more troops. I'm losing more and more troops, and they're all converting. And it's interesting to see in Gitin and also in Avodah Zarah that Onkelos is not converting at a good time for Am Yisrael.
Nachon.
Like the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, all the hardships and all the death that Titus caused is in the midst, and still Onkelos decides that he wants to be a Jew.
And he's not doing it because his family is pushing him or pushing him.
He's not gaining anything.
He's not gaining anything, not personal and not national-wise. And think about it, if he's the nephew of Titus, so he's coming from a very well-known, wealthy, important family in the Roman Empire, and he's leaving all of that behind him in order to go and sit in a Beit Midrash and to sit and learn Torah quietly. So it's mamash, it's mind-blowing. Yeah. There's a beautiful Midrash in Shmot Rabbah that Onkelos is coming to the king and telling him, I've decided to convert. And the king is telling him, what? I took all my life, I dedicated my life in order to kill those people, in order to ruin them, in order to destroy them. And you want to join them? Why would you want to join them? And Onkelos is telling him, הקטן שבהם יודע האח ברא הקדוש ברוך הוא את העולם. Even the young kids from that nation knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is making the world happen. So their God is true and their Torah is true. And that's why he decided to convert. And I think this midrash is a beautiful midrash to explain the connection of emunah that Onkelos had to Am Yisrael.
And over the years, there's a minhag or an halacha to read every week the following parasha, Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum. Meaning you read twice the parasha in Hebrew and then once in Aramaic in the Targum that Onkelos writes. And one of the questions is, does it still apply? If we don't understand it, do we still have to read it?
Do I need to read it in Aramaic when I don't understand the Aramaic of Onkelos?
Exactly.
So 250 years ago, Rav Epstein, who wrote Aruch HaShulchan, so he says, בשעה זו שתיקן משה רבנו לקרוא בתורה, when Moshe Rabbeinu gave the instruction that we need to read the Torah every week, נכון? תיקן גם תקנה זו שכל אחד יקרא שניים מקרא ואחד תרגום. Exactly at that time, Moshe Rabbeinu also said, when you read the Torah, also read Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum. Yeah. I love it because I think it's very cute that he writes it like that it's actually halacha leMoshe Sinai that you need to read Shnayim Mikra ve'echad Targum. But I think what he's trying to say is that you have to understand what you're reading. And you have to read the parasha every week. You have to read Nachon every day. You read the Aliyah of the same day. So you read the parasha, you read the Torah, you go over the Torah every week. But you have to understand it. And if you don't understand it and you don't read the translation, so you're just mumbling words that you don't understand, it's meaningless. So Moshe is saying, don't just read the Torah, but understand what you're reading.
Rav Melamed in Pnei Halacha about Shabbat, he's also asking the question, should we keep reading Aramaic, the translation, if we don't understand? And he says that if you prefer to read Rashi, and it makes more sense to you, and you don't understand the Aramaic, you can switch and read the Rashi and the Parsha instead of the Aramaic translation. But he says, listen, the Mekubalim are saying that there's a merit.
There's like some sort of a...
Yeah, that there's importance of reading the Aramaic even if you don't understand. But being very truthful, he says, if you want to go with Rashi instead, you could do that also.
Amazing. בהצלחה. Let's enjoy Masechet Avodah Zarah.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.